Hey friends, you know what it's time for? It's time for an old school, old style YouTube get ready with me kind of video. But today it's going to be basically my current makeup favorites, my most used products, if you will, from 2024. Some of these are brand new. You've never heard or seen me talking about them, perhaps unless you are a newsletter subscriber, then you probably definitely have. And it's the time of year when maybe we're looking to refresh our makeup, add just a little something. And while it's easy to run out and buy a new pair of shoes or a new top for an event, usually we don't rotate through our makeup very much, which is honestly why I've kind of gone away, not kind of, I've definitely moved away from doing a lot of makeup heavy stuff here on my YouTube channel because I'm just not changing things up all that much. Clothing, sure, makeup, not so much. So I will do my best to actually mention the product that I'm talking about. And of course, I'll probably forget. So check the screen for details and everything will be listed in the order in which I share it here down in the description box. That whole description box is also pinned to the top of the comments, so you have all the things. And if it's on YouTube shopping, it'll be tagged there too. So we're gonna start with the last step in my skincare, which is SPF. I am in my glowy phase, as you will see with a lot of the products that I've been using. So this is my current favorite. This is from Colorescience, and it is their Glow version. I've used their Flex version during the spring and summer months. I don't really need extra glow in the spring and summer. Mother Nature provides that to me in way of perspiration. I like a little glow to lift that dullness to my face, or from my face, that happens in the fall and winter months. And if you're wondering where I'm wiping my hands, I will share these. This is from a set of little towels I got from Amazon years ago. Has makeup embroidered on it, and I don't care what happens to these. So these are fantastic for wiping my hands while I'm doing makeup, for cleaning my brushes. I just throw it in the washer and the dryer, and then we are good as new. So first step for me always is SPF, or it's the last step in your skincare. It just depends how you're looking at it. So the first actual step in my makeup routine has not changed in years, if I can find it. It is the Trish McEvoy Instant Eye Lift. This is not new. This is a perennial favorite. Like I said, it's another reason why I'm not sharing. Let me get my mirror a little closer. It's why I don't share makeup stuff as much, because stuff just isn't getting changed up. So if you've seen any of my makeup tutorials, for the most part, a lot of these are going to be familiar to you. I will also link my brushes, like the ones I use every single day. 99.9% of them are from BK Beauty, and I have a discount code for those. They're just phenomenal. Now, as far as foundation goes, I do have a new favorite for you. My all-time favorite is the Mer Foundation, which is currently sitting at $150. It's outrageous. Like I'm not even gonna apologize for it. I know it. It's outrageous. So I've been trying to find alternatives, and I can't say that this is my all-time favorite because, again, this is more of I don't know if I'm going to love it in the summer. Let's just put it that way. But right now, if I had to choose between using only one foundation for the next few months, it would be this one. And it's from Pat McGrath Labs. It's her Skin Fetish foundation, and I'm wearing it in the shade Light 5. As I do the foundation, I do like a pump and a half. A little goes a long way, and you can always layer and add on more. I do want to address how I just applied the Instant Eye Lift. That goes on before foundation, before any other makeup. It is the first step in your makeup application, and if you're a no makeup kind of girl, it would be the only makeup you put on that day, probably more than I needed. Okay, so this foundation, why I'm loving it? Well, obviously the shade range is phenomenal, and I picked my shade online. I actually went onto the Sephora website for this one and entered in my La Mer shade because that most accurately matches my skin tone right now, and it popped out light number 5, and I got it, and it's perfect. Their shade matching thing works pretty well if you're worried about buying foundation sight unseen, so to speak, online. Sephora's got a really good tool for that. It is also now carried at Nordstrom, which I have to admit is more of my preferred beauty retailer for all things. Quite a few of you have reached out to me and mentioned that my skin or my face is looking even better than before. A few of you have actually accused me of withholding information about cosmetic procedures I've had. I get Botox every 4 months or so. That's it for the cosmetic procedures. If I found something that's working or not working, I would let you know. I'm not a big fan of keeping secrets. Okay, so that's the foundation on. I think it is beautiful. It's a beautiful finish. It wears really well. Now, I have added eye brightener, which basically cancels out the darkness under my eyes, but I still want some brightness added to it. So I've had a few favorites to share over the years, but the one that I am in love with is actually a replacement from the same brand. So I used to use the Tarte Creaseless Concealer under my eyes and honestly all over my face. And then Tarte released the Tarte Creamy Creaseless Concealer, which is what this one is. So I like this one even more. It is so lightweight and it blends like a dream and it has a great range of color. This is clearly my natural skin tone, not my summer skin tone. I'm gonna let that sit for a minute and we're going to address the blemishes on my face. I do use 2 different concealers because I like to. I'm gonna recommend another really, really pricey one. This is from Cle de Peau. It is their just concealer. It is $75. I know. I will say this tube, the last one I bought lasted me, I think almost 5 years and it stayed creamy. So it lasts a very long time. It does have SPF in it, which is kind of nice because you really don't want the sun to darken any other blemishes you might have. And I do find that this stick form lasts a lot longer on the skin. I have found the best way to blend it in is either with my finger or with a little brush. So we're gonna do that. It just melts. It melts right into the skin. It is undetectable. You cannot see where the concealer starts and ends. I'm really impressed with this formula. In fact, it's so good, I'm gonna need a better mirror. I can't see where I put it to make sure I've covered all of it. I prefer to blend my under eye concealer in with a damp beauty sponge. Using the sponge wet and then squeezed out in a towel, like I will run it under the sink and then I'll just wrap it in the towel and squeeze it until it's just damp. It's the same as when you're washing your dishes with a sponge. Would you use a dry sponge to attempt to wash a dish? It's not gonna work. You wouldn't squirt soap on a fully dry sponge. Same concept here. And it just kind of thins out the concealer enough so that it doesn't get too, not too cakey. It doesn't get cakey at all on the skin. And you can really kind of work it into the nooks and crannies and fine lines. Now, you are going to want to set your under eye concealer so that it stays smooth and beautiful, and we will get to that in a moment. But before we start adding powders, I want to finish with the cream products. I contour pretty much every day. Obviously, this is an extra step for many. All of this is extra steps. I personally enjoy this, so I'm not going to try to justify it. I enjoy it, so I do it. So the new to me contour stick I've been using for most of 2024 is from Dior, and I'm wearing it in shade 1. I just think it's a little creamier, and I like the shade range better than the Westman Atelier face contour stick that I've been using for years. But I do like both of them. I think, depending on what your personal preferences are, they both are good. I will say the one negative on this doesn't bother me, but it's gonna bother some of you, is it is heavily fragranced, especially if you're contouring your nose. Now, once I blend it in and I don't have the stick right in front of my nose, like I can't smell it on my face right now, but when I'm applying it, I most definitely can. So if you are oversensitive, then use the Westman Atelier one. If scent is not an issue for you, then I think this one is a little more user-friendly, and I do think you get a lot of product. It lasts a lot longer for me than the Westman Atelier. And for contour, I'm using the same brush I used for foundation and concealer, and I just pat, and if I'm going to go in a direction other than just patting, I'll blend up. And then under here, I'll go down. I have been playing with a liquid blush, both under my powder and on top. I'm gonna leave it and show you how it works, almost like another highlighter. I'm gonna go way extra today, just so you know. I do not pile all of this on every day. I do wear a lot of makeup because like I said, I enjoy it, but not quite to this level, but we're gonna save it for later. So at this step, I am ready to powder, and the powder that I've been using is definitely new. It is another product from Tarte. It's their new, it has a long name, but we're just gonna go with Creaseless Setting Powder, and I have it in 2 shades because I am that extra kind of girl. So I use the translucent shade, which is just white powder, for under my eyes, and it comes with this little tiny triangular shaped puff, and very user-friendly. You just slip your finger in. If you're gonna just do a handful of the things that I'm sharing here, powdering under your eyes. I have dry skin, by the way, so I don't want to hear everyone telling me, oh, but I have dry skin, I can't do that. Yes, you can. This basically sucks up the moisture that's left in your concealer and stops it from moving around and settling in your fine lines and wrinkles. So if you have experienced issues with your powder, or not your powder, your concealer creasing under your eyes, you might try powdering. So I do that shade under my eyes, and then because I am what I consider to be the shade Pasty White, that's not on any foundation I've ever seen, but that's generally the color I am. I like using the shade Yellow to kind of warm up my face a little bit. You don't need a lot, and I just go everywhere else on my face. So now we need bronzer. This is new because I just repurchased another one. This is my most used bronzer. I adore it. I talked about it all the time. It is Tarte. It is their waterproof bronzer. I love this because it's not completely matte. I would say more of a satin matte finish, and it's waterproof. And where I live, we don't have to worry about rain too much, but we do need to worry about humidity and sweat. So I love this because it stays put. You might not be experiencing either of those things where you currently live, but it might be snowing or raining, or you might be enjoying the fun of hot flashes. So this is a nice little layer to put on top of everything. And I am very generous with the application. I'm almost using this like an all-over powder just to kind of generally warm up my face. I could build it up if I wanted more, but I think we are tan enough. A product that I almost never used, it is new to me, so this isn't part of my everyday routine up until the last month or so, has been a highlighter. I've kind of been avoiding highlighters for a while, and I got talked into this one. It's the Rare Beauty highlighter, and I get the hype. It's beautiful, but I did not get mine in my exact skin tone. I got mine in the shade Mesmerize, which is sort of a pinky shade. I like to apply my highlighter when I use it after bronzer, but before blush. So then I put my blush on top, and that highlighter kind of comes up from behind it. So just a little bit, it's intense, and I'm sitting in direct sunlight, so it's gonna look even more crazy. So I don't always put it on my cheekbones. I'm gonna save this. We're gonna bring it back when we get to the eyes, because that's when I've really been using it. And then as far as actual blush goes, I always come back to this one, and it is sold out on the Tarte website, and it's, I believe, not even on the Ulta website, but I found it on the Sephora website, which makes me so happy. It's the Tarte blush in the shade Natural Beauty. I know that this looks scary at first blush, haha. But it is the most beautiful, natural, healthy glow. Look, okay, I am in extreme sunlight, so I think on the camera it looks kind of scary. But in real life, not so much. It's a kind of a pinky red, a watermelon-y red if you wish. Natural Beauty. Yeah, I can see myself on the monitor and it's like, whoa, Marnie, you got a lot going on. But I assure you, I'll just have to take a picture and insert. But a little tip to how I apply blush when I'm paying attention is I've been focusing it more towards the back of my cheeks, closer to my hairline, less so like right on the apples of my cheeks. Why? I don't know why. So now all of the face stuff is generally done. So now we're gonna move on to eyes, and I always start with brows, and I have a newer brow product that I love, love, love. It's from Kosas, and it is their Brow Pop in the shade Taupe. I was playing around with the same product in the shade Soft Brown, and it was just a smidge too dark for me. So I'm gonna quickly draw my brows on, and they're in pretty good shape. I would say I need a little more focus on the tail end between aging and hypothyroidism and a little overzealous plucking in the 90s. These just never grew back, but I keep things pretty natural, and then I'll use the spoolie on the other end to brush everything through, and then we're gonna lock them in place with the least expensive product that I have in my arsenal right now. I personally need to lock my brows in place. They will move all over my face, and I love the Anastasia Brow Freeze, but after you use it a few times, it gets all gooky. And I don't know where I saw, I wish I could give the person credit who recommended it, but I saw someone using this Maybelline Super Lock Brow Glue, and oh my goodness, I think it is stronger than the Anastasia version. It's around $8. It doesn't get goopy either. I mean, if it did, I could replace 3 of these before I got to the price of the Anastasia Brow Gel. So I love this. Excellent. I wouldn't even call it a dupe because it performs better than the Anastasia version. Now, as far as what I do on my eyes, I am not all that creative. I have quite a few favorites, but I will share what I have been doing currently because a lot of you have asked, and I'm gonna go a little extra, so I'll let you know when I get to the point where it's more than I've been doing. It's just if I wanna add another layer. I have been reaching for the Armani eye tint, and I do one eye at a time. I like to have a synthetic kind of fluffy brush to move things around. What I love about this is I have small beady eyes that are hooded, so I don't have a lot of real estate on my lid, and I need to cheat a bigger eyelid space. So I can draw this on exactly where I want this, and I avoid the inner corner, and it's, you have to close your eye a little bit so that you can see, but then open it and draw up where you want it, go above the hood, so it looks like you actually have like a full eyelid. And then you take your fluffy brush and you kind of dab and you go around the edges to blend it out a little bit. And the best blender, of course, is your finger. And it's an easy everyday look, and we're done. It is easy to do under your eyes. Just take the very tip of it and just dot it a little bit close to the lash line, and then take that synthetic brush and just buff it. That's not bad. That wasn't scary. I'm glad we did that together. Then, to brighten things up a little bit, I go back in with my Rare Beauty highlighter and any kind of more fluffy brush, and I just kind of go in the inner corner. And that's pretty much all I've been doing on my eyes, but because I'm sharing all of my favorites that are current for 2025, I'm going to show you the next step, which is this little eyeshadow duo from Chantecaille. And you can actually duplicate this without the liquid eyeshadow. You could just use these two shadows and get a pretty similar look. There is a matte shadow and then there's a shimmer. So just take the matte one and put it all over your lid, just like I did with the liquid eyeshadow. But what I'm going to do is just go around the edges, just so you can kind of see how that would work. And you could also use that under your eyes if you wanted to. And if you wanted to add just a whole other layer of shimmer, you could do with just the shimmer all over too. I'm gonna leave that alone. Before I curl my lashes with something new, I've been experimenting with winged eyeliner again. And I stink at it. Like, I do. It's fine. I'm not upset about it. It just is what it is. But what I have found is that there is a way to kind of cheat it just enough and without using a liquid liner, because it's not working for me. And that is to use a regular liner, just a very fine tip. This is the Tarte Quick Stick. One shade is more of an eyeshadow pencil crayon thing, and then the more narrow end is more of your traditional eyeliner. I prefer a brown. I think brown is just a little more universally flattering, especially as we age. It's a little less harsh, and I have hooded eyes. So here's the trick I am trying. I am by no means even good at it. I would say passably decent. I put it underneath my hood and I just draw a little flick almost straight out. I would say maybe it's a 10-degree angle. It is not angled like a real winged liner because of my hooded eyes. It's already gonna look like that. I am essentially drawing almost a straight line. If any degree is involved, it's like 10, not 45, not 20. And then I do the same thing here. I put it underneath, like I'm really just extending from my lower lash, but I'm going like straight out. That's it. It's just nothing to it. And then when you curl your lashes and put on all the mascara that we're about to put on, it all kind of blends. But when you look down, you get that little wing, which I think is really cool. As far as curling the lashes, this is a step I insist on. Even if you aren't wearing makeup, it just opens up your face. Let me curl my lashes. There's a step I generally like to do before I put on mascara, and that is setting my makeup, because setting spray can possibly make your mascara run. Not the mascara I'm about to share, but anyway. I've been looking for alternatives. I still can't find anything better than the Charlotte Tilbury, and I essentially drown my face in it. While that is drying, let's do the mascara, and then we can do lips. I am shedding. We're gonna probably have to stick with fashion moving forward, friends. Okay, so if you are new here and you're still sitting through this video, bless your hearts, but I recently had an eye condition that is all gone now this year, where I had to put eye drops in my eye 12 times a day, which could wreak havoc on the mascara situation, but not with this combo. I swear by it. First, lash primer, Estee Lauder. I do my lower lashes first, and then key here is the Tarte Tartelette Tubing Mascara, the purple one, not their new XL one. I didn't find it to be as good as the original. I do my bottom lashes first, primer and mascara, and then we go to the top. Nothing too dramatic on the bottom here, but I'm telling you, 12 times a day I was putting drops in my eyes. My mascara never smeared, never budged, never flaked. The other fun thing that I started using in 2024 is Invisalign to fix my bite, to correct a bite issue. I don't have a ton of lip products that I'm like, oh my gosh, these are the best. Because when I have my trays in, everything ends up getting on my trays. Occasionally, I go without them. So the lip liner I'm about to use is not actually the lip liner I want to recommend. The lip liner I want to recommend that I've been really loving as far as longevity is from Lancome, and specifically the shade Nude Now. Love these. They're essentially waterproof, super long lasting, but I am trying to find the perfect lip liner to go with, where did my mirror go? With my favorite lip color and products of 2024. So we're gonna try this one. It's from Buxom and it's called, I don't know what it's called. We're just gonna put it on, and I was testing it on my hand, so we'll see. I have found that the key to lipstick longevity is to layer lip liner and then lip product, and to avoid the corners because it just collects in my corners. So a couple things I can do here. I can either fill in the whole lip, which I'm gonna do a little, not the whole lip. Then I go in with the only product that is definitely held up to my lip trays and doesn't get on them. It's the newest release from YSL. It's their Vinyl Lip Cream, I believe it's called. It's a high shine liquid lip. Of course, a liquid lip in general is gonna hold up, but usually they're all matte and they feel terrible on the lips. This one does not. It does have some shine to it, and I love it in the shade 44. 44 is also called Nude Lavalier, and they have this in a lipstick version, a lip shine version, a liquid blush. It is such a beautiful cool tone pink. And then normally after it sets, to add some gloss, I go over it with this. I can't tell you the name. I'll put it on the screen. I forgot which one this is called. It's essentially a translucent solid lip gloss, if you will. But just to show you all the things, I was telling you that it comes in a Love Shine Balm number 44, and this is the newest release in that it's a really pretty holiday tube, but I have it in the normal silver packaging. And I will layer this over it. It feels so nice on the lips. I love this one so much. It is just the prettiest pink. I look a little crazy without hair, so let me let my hair down. So that is a lot of products layered on one small face, but these are all of my current favorites and honestly most used products over the entire course of 2024. This by no means is the exhaustive list, especially when it comes to eyeshadow palettes and lip products. There are a lot. So be sure to check the description box and the comment section where I will have links to full product sets of all of my favorites from 2024. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. If you enjoyed this kind of video in particular, I would really love to know. Leave your comments below. Hope you are well. Happy all the holidays, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.